Bangkok, July 12, 2017. The man the United States had just indicted as the founder of AlphaBay, by the Justice Department's own description, the largest darknet marketplace in history, was found dead in his cell hours before a scheduled court hearing. The record knows his name. It knows how he was found, how he was caught, almost to the minute. What the record has never settled is how he died. This file follows the case to where the record stops. That question still open. Here's what he was accused of building. In the summer of 2017, the government filed a screenshot in federal court, a website, an ordinary-looking online storefront, until you read the categories. Fraud, drugs and chemicals, counterfeit items, weapons, carded items. The site was called AlphaBay. Its own frequently asked questions page posed the question, is AlphaBay market legal? The answer, in the site's own words. Some people have really asked this question. Of course not. We are an anonymous marketplace selling drugs, weapons, and credit cards. We take no responsibility if you get caught, so protecting yourself is your responsibility. In this file, a market with 25 times Silk Road's listings by the government's count, one leaked email header, and a death in a Bangkok cell, the record leaves unresolved. This is the file on AlphaBay, and on Alexandre Cazes, the man the United States indicted as its founder, caught with his laptop open and never brought to trial. Alexandre Cazes, born, per Andy Greenberg's reporting, in 1991 and raised in Trois-Rivières, Quebec, mostly by his mother, Danielle Ayroux. Greenberg's 2022 book, Tracers in the Dark, carries nearly all of the human story in this file. Much of what follows rests on that one well-sourced book, and this file will say so when it does. Years before AlphaBay, a user calling himself Alpha02 was posting on programming forums, reporting places as web design company EBX Technologies in those same years. By the mid-2010s, he was running EBX from Bangkok, a company government investigators would later conclude had, quote, little to no business income or banking activity, a business in name only. And in July 2014, according to the federal indictment that came later, the man behind Alpha02 began building something else. It launched that December, AlphaBay. Here's the file. In the site's first months, its founder posted the goal, to become, quote, the largest eBay-style underworld marketplace, signing off with 2 words, happy trading. By the government's own measure, he got there. The indictment alleges that Cazes, posting as Alpha02, later simply admin, had, quote, ultimate control of the organization, accounts, disputes, staff salaries. Because AlphaBay had staff. Government filings list the roles by moniker. A security administrator called DeSnake, moderators, Raspy, Disco, Bota, and a fraud watch team called ScamWatch, a dark web marketplace with an org chart. The business model was commission, generally 2 to 4% of every transaction. And the transactions came. By the government's sworn count, roughly 369,000 listings for illegal goods by June 2017. Deposits the investigation estimated, in under 2 years, at some $450 million. It is worth pausing on what those listings were. Not abstractions, stolen credit card numbers with real holders, counterfeit identity documents, weapons, and narcotics, per the indictment, heroin and fentanyl among them. Through 2015 and 2016, it grew into the largest market of its kind, by the government's account. Back in its first weeks, every new forum account had gotten a welcome email, routine housekeeping, the kind every platform sends. Keep that housekeeping in mind. By late 2016, law enforcement agencies on more than one continent wanted to know who Alpha02 was. The answer had been sitting in an inbox since 2014. November 2016, per Greenberg, a tipster hands a DEA agent, Robert Miller, a name Greenberg says he altered to protect his identity, an archived copy of AlphaBay's 2014 welcome email. Every email carries a hidden block of routing data, headers, that readers never see. A correctly configured server would scrub anything identifying before a message left. AlphaBay's, in its earliest weeks, had not. The header exposed the sender's personal address, pimp_alex_91@hotmail.com. The agent and a federal prosecutor, Grant Rabin, pulled the thread. The same Hotmail address surfaced on a years-old tech forum post, signed in full, Alexandre Cazes. Even the number in the address gave something away, 91, his birth year. At the end of the thread, a man living large in Bangkok. One former associate, quoted by Greenberg under an altered name, described Cazes as intelligent, generous, and, quote, emotionally very cold, and recalled Cazes driving him down a Bangkok highway at over 150 miles an hour in a Lamborghini Aventador. And the money was moving offshore, a purchased second citizenship in Antigua and Barbuda, and a third in Cyprus, mid-process at his arrest. Then the papers started moving. On June 1, 2017, a federal grand jury in California's Eastern District returned a 16-count indictment: racketeering conspiracy, narcotics conspiracy, identity document and access device fraud, money laundering, under seal. 19 days later, a magistrate signed 12 seizure warrants. Everything was in place except the hardest part: arresting a man whose entire business was encryption in another country, without giving him 3 seconds to close a laptop. In the first days of July 2017, AlphaBay went dark, taken offline by law enforcement. For its operator, a service outage, a problem to fix. On July 5th, the Royal Thai Police executed an arrest warrant at Cazes' Bangkok residence, the FBI and DEA assisting. Greenberg's account supplies the tactic. Agents staged a minor car crash at his front gate, a lure to pull Cazes away from his machines while an agent raced inside. What the sworn record establishes is the result. His laptop was open, unencrypted, logged into the AlphaBay server under the username admin, mid-reboot, after the outage law enforcement itself had caused. The site going dark was the bait he was holding when they came through the gate. On that same computer, investigators found a file Cazes kept on himself. Its heading, total net worth. Its figure, $23,033,975. His own ledger was the map. The DEA agent on the ground in Bangkok was Jen Sanchez. She had pursued this case for months, and, per Greenberg's reporting, she hoped to flip Cazes into a cooperating witness. Cazes went into Thai custody to await extradition. He was due before a Bangkok court on the morning of July 12th. He never saw that courtroom. On the morning of July 12th, 7 days after the arrest, hours before that hearing, Alexandre Cazes was found dead in a holding cell at the Royal Thai Police Narcotics Suppression Bureau in Bangkok. What is known about that morning comes almost entirely through Greenberg, who interviewed the people involved and obtained cell video from Thai police. One book's account on named, on-record sources. It goes like this. Thai officers found him. Jen Sanchez arrived after, the agent who had wanted him alive, talking, cooperating. Per Greenberg's reporting, she thought, in the aftermath, "I told you I was going to take care of you." The official account, a Thai police coroner's report, whose contents Greenberg reports, listed the cause of death as suffocation. No signs of a struggle, no other person's DNA under his fingernails. Sanchez's account of the mechanism, Cazes fashioned a ligature from a towel, anchored it to a half-height partition wall, and used his own seated body weight. That is the official account. It is not the only one. But before the dispute, the file puts one physical fact on the table. The cell was under video surveillance. There was a camera. Roger Banakdar was Cazes' defense attorney, retained for a defense he never got to mount. He told Greenberg the physical explanation was, quote, biomechanically dubious. Greenberg's own answer to that objection, the medical research on hanging deaths shows self-asphyxiation can occur without the body being fully suspended. He says he requested the cell's footage from US and Thai authorities and never received it. Per footage Greenberg says he obtained himself, there is a gap, more than half an hour, between Cazes entering the cell's bathroom area and guards discovering him. Thai police told Greenberg the missing stretch was not preserved because it showed, quote, no movement and no one entering. The gap and the explanation, both are in the record of this file. It cannot take you further than that. And then there is his mother. Danielle Ayrou rejects the official finding outright. In a French-language text message Greenberg quotes, she wrote, "Alex didn't kill himself. Surely they wanted Alex not to speak, and his assassination was ordered." She offered no evidence and declined to be interviewed. A grieving mother's stated belief, documented as an utterance, unproven as a claim. The file presents it as exactly that, and does not adopt it. Plainly stated, Caz died in that cell on that morning, before any court appearance, any extradition, any trial. What we don't know, no autopsy report, no official investigative finding, Thai or American, has surfaced in the record gathered for this file. Even the U.S. government's own announcement went no further than that Caz, quote, apparently took his own life. 8 days after his death, the United States stepped to a podium to announce what it had done. And the announcement revealed that AlphaBay had only ever been half of the operation. July 20th, 2017, Attorney General Jeff Sessions announces the takedown of AlphaBay, and with it, the reveal. While AlphaBay was being taken, Dutch-led law enforcement had simultaneously seized a second market, Consuela. Not just seized. Per Europol, Dutch police had covertly run Consuela for a month under judicial authorization. So when AlphaBay went dark and its users went looking for a new marketplace, thousands walked straight into one already run by the police. Europol recorded an 8-fold jump in new Consuela registrations. This is the comparison the whole file has been pointing at, and it is the government's own. Silk Road, the largest dark web market of its day, had, per the Justice Department's release, reportedly some 14,000 listings at seizure. The same release put AlphaBay's listings at more than 350,000, some 25 times as many. As a law enforcement operation, the 1-2 punch worked. What it never produced, what it never could produce after July 12th, was a verdict. The criminal case ended 9 months later in a filing whose operative part runs 2 sentences. The above-named defendant died in July 2017. Accordingly, the United States moves to dismiss the indictment filed on June 1st, 2017. The court granted it the next day. Understand what that means for every sentence in this file. Alexandre Cazes was never convicted of anything. Indicted, yes. Arrested, yes. Tried, convicted, sentenced, never. The money did not need a verdict. Each of these endings arrives the same way, not by ruling, by silence. In the civil forfeiture case, his parents, Martin Cazes and Danielle Ayrou, were named as claimants and did not contest it. The clerk entered default against both in November 2017. His wife, Sunisa Tapsuwan, and his estate defaulted the following January. One distinction, and it matters for all 4. Declining to contest a forfeiture is not the same as accepting the allegations against Cazes. The record shows only that none of them fought the seizure. A second, separate forfeiture case, filed in 2019, went after a Thai bank account in Cazes' own name, 3 checks totaling about $129,000, and offshore funds held through a shell company at a bank in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In August 2020, more than 3 years after Cazes died, the court entered a final default judgment, forfeiting the Thai account and the checks, unopposed. The criminal case ended because the defendant died. The forfeiture cases ended because no one argued back. Not one allegation against Alexandre Cazes was ever tested, not in his life and not against his money. And that was the end of it, on paper. Indictment dismissed, some of the money forfeited, file closed. Except for the staff list, those monikers in the government's own filings, never unmasked or charged in the record gathered for this file. In 2021, one of those names came back. August 2021, 4 years after the takedown, AlphaBay reappeared online. Running it, DeSnake, the moniker the government's own filings had listed as AlphaBay's security administrator. The relaunched market refused Bitcoin entirely, transacting only in Monero, built to resist exactly the tracing that had helped catch Cazes. In a 2021 interview with Greenberg, DeSnake, described in the book as AlphaBay's number 2, made a claim about Cazes' death. He said Caz had been murdered. A contingency plan he says the two had arranged in case of arrest. A plan, he argues, Caz would never have abandoned by choosing suicide. He offered no evidence. It has been alleged and never confirmed. And the file weighs the source, a pseudonymous figure, identity unknown, relaunching an illegal market, with every incentive to give that market a martyr instead of a suicide. The relaunched AlphaBay went dark in 2023. Security lockdown or exit scam, reports differ, and the record does not resolve it. DeSnake's identity and his fate are unknown in the record reviewed here. So is every other name on AlphaBay's staff list. What we know, plainly stated, a marketplace that called itself illegal in its own FAQ carried 25 times as many listings as Silk Road by the government's measure. Its alleged founder was identified by his own leaked email, caught with his laptop open, and indicted on 16 counts. 2 markets, 1 trap. What we don't know is the thing the case never got to decide. No trial. No verdict, and a death in a Bangkok cell, 7 days into custody, that the official account calls suicide, his attorney calls dubious, his mother calls murder, and the record leaves unresolved. The file on AlphaBay closes with every count dismissed, some of the money forfeited, and no verdict, not on the man, and not on the way he died. That's the file. Sources are next on screen. Every court filing, document, and book this episode used. Audit the work if you want. And if you want the next file when it opens, subscribe. Closing the file.